Should the Calgary Flames make a play for Oliver Ekman-Larsson? That's definitely something that I'll talk about and speculate in this video, as there's definitely been rumors out there that the Calgary Flames might be considering picking up Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Hi there, it's Brodie Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and occasionally I want to make a video when I talk about my Calgary sports. I'm talking about some rumors and any gossip that's out there in the Twitterverse or online. However, the Arizona Coyotes, they're definitely in a tough position right now. Also an interesting position at the same time, that the Arizona Coyotes are actually right up against the cap between the combination of trading away draft picks and then losing draft picks with the violation of the league's combine policy. The Arizona Coyotes are looking to potentially recoup some prospects and draft picks because they do not have any to play with in the next couple of years, and the fact that the Arizona Coyotes are looking to shed some payroll, and the Calgary Flames are looking to maybe make a few significant changes on their lineup. And I would say definitely one area that the Calgary Flames, I personally think, if there is a move that makes sense, and if the Arizona Coyotes are committed to shedding some salary and payroll, and one of their big assets, or their two big assets that's on the market, potentially is defenseman Oliver Ekman-Larsson, their captain, and goaltender Darcy Kuemper. But there's definitely been some rumors, especially Elliotte Friedman from Hockey Night in Canada on Rogers Sportsnet. He put out a suggestion that the Calgary Flames are looking at potentially adding Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And I would definitely think that there's definitely some merit to that rumor, because it definitely would be a great addition to bring in an Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Let's just say if we move on from Brodie and Travis Hamonic, as they're both unrestricted free agents. In addition, we also have Erik Gustafsson, Derek Forbert, who are unrestricted free agents from who we acquired at the trade deadline, and Michael Stone, which I would say he's probably definitely not coming back, even though the fact that we brought him back after buying him out because of the Yusuf Al-Mak injury. But think of this top four, assuming we don't trade to make any other trades of players under contract. We still got Mark Giordano, despite the fact that he has a year left and he's getting older, but he's still a top four defenseman at worst case in the NHL today. And then Rasmus Andersson, another defenseman who's from Sweden, that's definitely showing he has some upside, and he did play with a broken foot in the playoffs after all. And then we still have Noah Hannafin that we acquired in the Doug Hamilton trade, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. That would definitely be a pretty good top four, if you ask me, if we move on to Brodie and Travis Hamonic, and the fact that I think the Calgary Flames could be ready to move on from those two, and the cap hit would still kind of work. Also, we'll still have Yusuf Al-Mak, still, assuming we don't trade, make any other moves, that we can still have Yusuf Al-Mak, who we drafted back in 2017, that hopefully he'll be fresh and ready to go next season after his injury. And then we decide to qualify Oliver Shillington, defenseman that we drafted in 2015. And then it wouldn't hurt to bring back Erik Gustafsson just to have an option on the power play. And Derek Forbert, he would have to definitely take a pay cut if he wants to come back. But, and then the only defenseman I could think of that's potentially knocking on the door that's still in the system from Stockton is Alexander Yoshin. So I would say it's definitely, actually upgrade the defense while making a little bit of a shake-up on the lineup if we decide to bring in Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So let's break down the cap hits that I think potentially it could work. I know it's a very rich contract that the Calgary Flames would have to take on from Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but I would say he definitely has a lot of upside, and we'll take a look at his career numbers that I would say it makes it even case stronger that we should make a play for him if anything makes sense. So yeah, his cap hit is $8.25 million, and it runs until the 2026-27 season. As just this past season, when it started, he signed his 8-year deal worth $66 million with the Arizona Coyotes. starting in 2019-20, and the fact that he was drafted at the Arizona Coyotes initially, and it was back in 2013. And she also add in that Brad Treliving, the current general manager of the Calgary Flames, and the current vice president of the Calgary Flames, Don Maloney, they were part of the Coyotes brass then, so they do have some familiarity with this asset. He's definitely looked upon as one of the better defensemen in the league, and is the current captain of the Arizona Coyotes, so we're definitely bringing in someone definitely with a lot of upside that I would say is at his peak and brings in some leadership in the locker room. However, he does have a no movement clause, and he'll be 36 years old at the end of this contract. That's the only, about paying $8.25 million for a defenseman, but definitely would be in some upside right now. The two defensemen that I think we could potentially be moving on from, where I think the math could work, even if it's one defenseman for two, but the upside is there, is Travis Hamonic. His cap hit was $3.85 million, and he signed a 7-year deal back in 2013-14 with the New York Islanders for $27 million, and we acquired him at the draft in 2017 with a bunch of picks, which that's the other thing we'll talk about, is what trade could it make sense for the Calgary Flames to bring in Oliver Ekman-Larsson with the Arizona Coyotes cap situation, looking at shedding payroll and maybe recoup some picks and maybe get some prospects because they traded some picks away and they got penalized with the combine violation. And then TJ Brodie, his cap hit was $4.65 million. As they both, Hamonic and Brodie, are unrestricted free agents. He signed a 5-year deal back in 2015-16 with the Calgary Flames. TJ Brodie's been the Calgary Flame his whole career. Back when he drafted him back in 2008, he signed for 5 years for $23.25 million, and that's the cap hit there. So the cap hit definitely would be almost negligible if he brought in Oliver Ekman-Larsson, assuming it's going to be flat. I mean, it's going to be a flat cap of $81.5 million, given the loss of revenue with the pause and the global pandemic. And I know the Arizona Coyotes definitely, surprisingly, they spent some money the last few years, but now they're kind of in a cap crunch and a draft pick prospect crunch from making some trades, including Taylor Hall and then the violation. And so this is a perfect opportunity for maybe to add in Oliver Ekman-Larsson for Calgary and maybe give him some picks and some prospects. But that's where the debate is who do we trade away? As the Arizona Coyotes in this draft coming up, which has been confirmed will be October 6th and 7th, they will not have a first and third because they made previous trades. They lost their second round pick in this draft because of the combine violation of the league's policy, and they will not have a first round pick in 2021 for the violation of the league's combine policy. So that's why there's been speculation that the Arizona Coyotes are looking at trading away their two big pieces in Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Darcy Kuemper to recoup some picks, and also if they want to get less money on their payroll. Maybe to still potentially sign Taylor Hall, but that's also looking unlikely. But there's also been rumors that maybe Calgary could make a play for Taylor Hall if we trade away either Johnny Gaudreau or Sean Monahan. There's also been those rumors that could the Calgary Flames trade Johnny Gaudreau in this trade to get Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I doubt it. I doubt it in this case. And right now I'm going to say I doubt, although I think it's worth shopping around. Potentially Johnny Gaudreau. Calgary isn't just going to trade him just for the sake of trading him because of various reasons. I mean, about maybe getting some return back and maybe other pieces that could help the lineup, especially in playoff time. But I definitely say this is something the Calgary Flames should consider. And the only other players that I could think we could potentially throw in this deal is obviously if we can try to not trade away the first round pick this year in this deep draft. Could we trade away a first in 2021? Maybe throw in Travis Hamonic or TJ Brodie so they can have their negotiating rights to have a cheaper option for Oliver Ekman-Larsson if he's going to come to Calgary. I mean, he has no movement clause, but if they tell him that, well, this is the direction we're going to go, and he probably might want to come to Calgary just to have more of a chance to play in the playoffs. That's just one idea. Or maybe if the Coyotes are looking at trading away Darcy Kuemper, could the Calgary Flames throw in David Riddick in a potential package? Because it feels like that the Calgary Flames They say they are committed to signing Cam Talbot for another one-year deal. I mean, the only other goalies that are in the system, I mean, Dustin Wolf is still a couple of years away as he's still playing in junior. They signed that Artem Zakadulin, but, I mean, if they trade away David Riddick to make the deal work, they're definitely going to look somewhere else in free agency. But I definitely still think, despite the loaded cap hit, but the upside that Oliver Ekman-Larsson has, and the fact that he's a current captain of the Arizona Coyotes, and then just looking at his career numbers, I mean, he was drafted originally 6th overall by the Arizona Coyotes back in 2009. So he's definitely, he's 29 years old. He definitely already has lots of experience. He's from Karlskrona, Sweden. I mean, he's 29 right now. He'll be 36 at the end of his contract. But just looking at his career stats, I mean, he's played 723 games in the NHL, all with Arizona, or Phoenix Coyotes. He scored 125 goals, 239 assists for 364 points, and 450 penalty minutes. And he's only played in 25 games with the Arizona Coyotes. Well, he was on this past year with the play-in series and in the first round against Colorado. And then he was on the team when they went to the Conference Championships back in 2012. But in 25 games, he has 2 goals, 6 assists for 8 points for 16 points. He had 2 seasons where he scored 20-plus goals in 14-15 and 15-16. And then his best season, points-wise, was the 2015-16 season where he had 75 games. He had 21 goals, 34 assists, 55 points, and 96 penalty minutes. And, I mean, every year, I mean, the least games that he's played, well, I mean, he played 66 this past season, 29-20, but the season wasn't a full season. But in 2015-16, in his best season, he only played 75 games. So he's definitely durable. So I would say it's definitely worth a play on him to get Oliver Ekman-Larsson to the Calgary Flames. It would definitely, I would say, be an upgrade, even if it's just one defenseman replacing Hamonic and Brodie. But it's tempting there, and if it's a rumor trade, I mean, there hasn't been any package rumors. It's just rumors that the Calgary Flames are in on Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but chances are other teams are as well. I see a fit here. You definitely instantly be in our top 4, and definitely could be a top 2 defenseman. Let's just say, with looking at the future with Mark Giordano winding down, could we have Rasmus Andersson and Oliver Ekman-Larsson as well if Yusuf Elmack continues and if Oliver Shillington's game develops? I mean, I'm definitely liking the future with the Calgary Flames and their defense, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson definitely would be a nice addition if there's a deal that makes sense. So what do you think? Should the Flames make a play for him or a play for OEL? So if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, recapping games or trades or stories or the rumor, and this definitely feels intriguing to talk about and make a video on, as I like the potential for getting Oliver Ekman-Larsson if there's a deal that makes sense that won't trade away too much of our assets now, but that's always the risk, but it's a risk-reward thing. I also do personal vlogs, attempt to comedy. I also do share my experience I'm on the road or as a sporting event. So if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, do follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey. You know what you do, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below. For other ways you can follow me and get any tidbits what I want to do on the channel, or maybe some raw reaction to any moves that the Calgary Flames are never going to make, because there still is some interesting decisions. Like, the defense is definitely going to look a lot different for the Calgary Flames next season, but the 5 unrestricted free agents, and there's still rumors that maybe Johnny Gaudreau is at least being shopped around to see if there's any bites. But I don't think the Calgary Flames are just going to trade him for the sake of trading him, unless there's a deal that makes sense. We don't want another Doug Gilmour 2.0, where I keep saying that's the worst trade that the Calgary Flames have ever made, where we traded him to Toronto. It was a pretty good trade when we got him from St. Louis, but we don't want that with Johnny Hockey or Johnny Gaudreau. And the fact that Sean Monahan's a center, that's why it would be likely Calgary would still want to hang on to him a lot more. But those moves I think we don't have to make, but this would be enough of a shake-up if we brought in Oliver Ekman-Larsson for our defense to reshape the look of the defense. So what do you think? So as I say, go Flames go, and I'll see you in the next video.